When I set out to make my top 5 Elder Dragons in Monster Hunter video, I quickly discovered that the majority of the video would be me talking about my number 1 choice. So I decided to do a monster feature on it instead. Let's take a look at Gogmazios. Gogmazios, who I'll just refer to as Gogma in the rest of this video, is the final multiplayer boss for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the Nintendo 3DS. Gogma is one of the largest monsters in the series, but unlike some of them, Gogma is aggressive and actively attacks you, making it one of the more challenging endgame hunts in recent Monster Hunter games. In this video we'll be taking a look at its lore, design, and finally gameplay. Gogma is an old elder dragon that eats gunpowder, converting the sulfuric content inside into energy. The leftover impurities become the sticky tar that we see dripping from its body. An internal cooling mechanism allows it not to overheat as it converts the energy, and the result is that black steam that we see coming off of its body. The sticky black tar is what binds its body together in a mangled mess, creating a horrific and daunting appearance. Gogma will hibernate for years and even decades at a time, and the reason the guild was not fully aware of this monster is likely due to the fact that no one had probably ever survived an attack by it. When Gogma snacks, if it feels threatened it will act out violently and destroy the entire village around it. In Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, the town of Dundorma has a special area called the Battle Quarters, and inside they keep a large stash of gunpowder, cannonballs, and even some of the original Dragonator prototypes back from the 2nd generation games. Gogma would come and raid the inventory for food, and due to the sticky substance on its body, it accidentally ended up sucking up the prototype Dragonator as well, which grew into its body as it got larger. Talk about irony, huh? This is also how it got its nickname of the Great Halberd Dragon. The name Gogmazios comes from Gog and Magog from the Old Testament in the Bible. The interpretation that Capcom used here is one that Gog being that of a demon that was strong enough to stand up against God, and Magog being his brother. The hunt in the battle quarters is a great motif to the depiction of the two attacking the City of Angels. Design. The design of Gogma started once Capcom finished work on Monster Hunter 4 and started creating the expansion sequel. They started with 3 core ideas. First, they wanted to utilize the new 6-limb skeleton that they created for the flagship monster Gore Magala. Second, they wanted to create a hunt in the battle quarters map that would very much feel like an event, both in size of scale and requiring active participation from each member of the hunt. And third, they wanted to make a monster that would be dark, mysterious, and eerie. This is the first concept image and inspirational piece that Capcom started with. From here, they wanted to have a monster that had a very unique silhouette, something dark and surrounded by fog. One keyword that they came up with here was for the silhouette to appear like a giant demon with horns. But this is Monster Hunter, so they wanted to keep it as a dragon, so they played around with some cool ideas of what it might look like when it stands up. This led them to this design, which is exposed holes underneath its jaw with a glowing effect that would give it the appearance of an eerie demon when it held its head back and got ready to fire a blast. To help keep it sulking like an ogre, they had it focused on being grounded despite having wings. The final piece of design here was to give it an asymmetrical look by having things sticking out of its body, such as the prototype Dragonator, which you can break off and use against it. Here in this picture we see below what it would look like without any of these sort of asymmetrical impurities and what it looks like with them above, and you can see that it really does make a big difference. Gameplay. The hunt against Gogma takes place in a single arena called the Battle Quarters, and there are 2 unique roles that a player can focus on. One role is the Artillery, which is a collection of the Dragonator, Ballista, and for the first time ever in the series, a track cannon that can be moved around the arena and stocked with multiple cannonballs. The other role was for the Hunters on the ground. Their role is to attack Gogma while avoiding the explosive tar that drips off its body, and to use themselves and the ground restraints to position Gogma so that the players manning the artillery can blast it. With enough hits, players can actually knock off the prototype Dragonator out of Gogma's body and then use it once against it. This type of mechanic was totally fresh to the series and really created a fun hunt in which you wanted to aim for something specifically, and the payoff was well worth it. Both of these roles are an incredibly dangerous task. On the ground, the sticky and explosive tar is hard to navigate, and Gogma, despite its size, will swipe, charge, and attack players aggressively. For For the artillery side, Gogma will often engage players up on the ledge, and it'll use its breath attack to practically one-hit kill you if it can catch you off guard. Really, there's no safe area in this hunt whatsoever, which is something that makes it so fun. Once Gogma reaches 50% health, it becomes enraged, and the heat in its body that it generates during this phase will melt the tar off of its wings and allow it to fly up into the air. This is one heck of a sight that scared everybody when they first saw it. From here, it'll start shooting beams in rapid succession, and you pretty much risk the entire team dying pretty easily during this phase. You can though use restraints to knock it back down to the ground with a well-timed and aimed shot. Once ready, the prototype anti-Elder Dragon cannon called the Demolisher will be able to be used. Provided at least one of the players has upgraded their facilities in the town and can purchase a special dense Markle item, they can move the track cannon to the other side of the arena and use it to fire a massive blast of dragon energy at Gogma. Mind you, the other hunters have to keep Gogma either tied down or preoccupied to make sure that it doesn't just charge out of range and kill the player on the track cannon. If you nail the shot, the background music of Gogma changes and the song Proof of Hero starts to play. And it's possibly one of the biggest shots of dopamine that you can get in the series to date. Weapons. The weapons of Gogma really deserve their own video, which I might actually make one day, but the designs of all of its weapons are torture weapons and torture devices. That, coupled with the glowing effect that they gave it, really made them stand out even against the amazingly unique lineup of weapons already in the game. The weapons all have a sleep element, and the reason for this was simply that the game designers wanted to have an endgame weapon with the sleep element because they never really do that. Since Gogma hibernates, they felt, it kinda makes sense lore-wise as well, right? The armor of Gogma is quite cool looking, but it was kind of a quirky set with this skill Enlightened Blade. The uses of this set was super limited, not to mention that the set was incredibly weak to both fire and dragon, which represented most of the endgame threats to hunters anyways. Overall, I absolutely love Gogma. It's my favorite Elder Dragon in the series so far, and everything about it is just awesome. While Elder Dragons generally don't get an official monster icon, they created one for use outside of the game, such as a collectible pin badge collection that they had in Japan, and even used it for the icon in the interview with Fujioka-san in the June 2015 issue of Nintendo Dream. It's the icon I use for my channel, and I even did a video once on a Gogma color themed controller that I received. Anyways, I hope this video gives you a small slice and overview of the monster and what makes it so special. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have some cool memories of fighting this awesome monster, and until next time, happy hunting.